The story begins with a guy named Zubai running for the light. But our hero doesn't really like running, as he only wanted to make money and fool around. But for some reason, he finds himself in some strange place where some creature is after him, and our hero doesn't want to die like this. He approaches the entrance, runs inside and closes the door. After catching his breath, our hero turns back and sees a dead end in front of him, and the monster hits the door, which will not last long. And our hero thinks that this is where his life will end. But suddenly, he hears a woman's voice asking him, "Are you Zubai?" And the female voice asks if our hero wants to survive, and the hero answers, "Of course, I want to live. What do I do?" The voice asks him to take this core, and with the help of it, Zubai will be able to defeat the monster. The main thing is that he did not reject and do not hold him back. So our hero takes this core and thinks to himself that he doesn't want to die in a place like this. He squeezes the core in his hand and a message appears in front of him that the survivor's cultivation system is activated. And now in our hero's head, a cool menu has appeared, but he doesn't know how to use it. And then he sees the skills and laziness points, which are experienced to pump up, because as the voice says, laziness is part of human nature. You can gain points to increase your energy level, and now our hero needs to work hard. But the hero says he's stupid, so he asks for a shorter explanation, and the voice says, the point is to save up those points, and the easiest way is to lie down. And the hero was clearly puzzled by this, but he obeys and lies down on the floor, although he might die if he lies down on the floor. But he does lie down and gets laziness points, and when all the laziness points have been obtained, the hero tries to put the points in with his thoughts so that they turn into energy. And now, our hero feels the power, which is energy, and the voice says that energy usually hurts ordinary people, but our hero can use it. And now Zubai is able to mentally manipulate objects. And then, the monster breaks down the door and appears in front of our hero, who is just terrified of such creepiness in front of him. Then, the hero tries to fight the monster using the aura of energy, and he even succeeds. But the monster kicks himself in the chest and goes straight for the hero, and Zubai yells that his energy is weak and he's going to kill him, and the hero thinks he needs to turn his laziness points into an aura of energy. And after reaching the 10 energy mark, Zubai uses the power of the Dragon Ball, throwing the monster into the wall, where the monster will never get up again because Zubai has defeated it. And our hero thinks to himself that this is pretty good, though no, this is awesome, and then falls to the floor saying he's really strong. And then, our hero wakes up in a strange place where he sees a little girl eating cookies, and she says she didn't eat his cookies, and then runs out of his room screaming that the foundling is awake. And our hero asks, "Who cares about your cookies, especially since it's long past its expiration date?" Then our hero looks in the mirror and asks himself, how did he get so young? And it looks like it happened when the monster was chasing our hero, and the more he ran, the easier it was for him, saying he was handsome when he was young. Next, a man with glasses walks in, asking him to come with him and check in. As he walks down the hallway, Zubai notices that there are walls on all sides and it looks like a bunker, where their standard of living is not high. And the hero notices that there are children of all races here. There are yellow, black, and white, thinking about what kind of secret base is this, and then realizes that he can still look at his stats menu the same way, but doesn't realize where his laziness points are. After all, he spent a very long time in a hospital cot. A man in glasses enters the room and asks our hero his name, where he is from and how old is he. Our hero says his name is Zubai. He can't remember his age, and he is from China. But the man with glasses has never heard of China, and our hero doesn't understand how he has never heard of China. And then he notices that he doesn't speak Chinese and thinks that the system must have introduced another language to him. Then, the man with glasses says that from now on, our hero can stay here to live, because maybe they don't have long to live. Our hero doesn't understand the man with the glasses, and the man asks, "Don't you know, this world has come to an end? After all, the 42 people on this base are the only people left on this planet, and if you count our hero, that's 43 people, which leaves Zubai in shock." And so, in his room, the hero thinks about how come there are only 43 people left. What about the monster that was chasing him? The hero tries to calm himself down and says that he should just wait and look around. Zubai stayed in this place and looked around the entire base for a week, which was divided into 5 levels. The first level was very dangerous and without special protection. One could die immediately. The second and third floors are living quarters, and on the 4th floor is a warehouse where all the supplies are stored. And on the 5th floor, there is a laboratory where only Dr. Chong can enter. And the room our hero is in is like a prison because there are no windows. and this is a base full of children, except for Dr. Chung. But the hero doesn't realize how he's going to feed all the children. Then the doctor comes back with food, saying that there is very little food, so they have to eat artificial food and nutritious cookies. Zubai tastes the slurry, and to him it was horrible, and even that stale cookie tasted better. But this girl here, she clearly likes eating this thick slurry. But Dr. Chung says she's had enough because she's throwing up and her brain just isn't responding properly. And then Dr. Chung introduces himself and says that this girl's name is Aisha and she's going to be his roommate, and the hero wonders if this girl will eat him at night, considering she's so hungry. But Dr. Chung says she's just a glutton, but she doesn't eat people. But our hero isn't so sure, since Aisha sucks the doctor's blood. And after the meal, school starts, where all the kids didn't even know about history, math, physics, and so on. And our hero has heard that there's going to be a special lesson today, and this lesson is called Heaven's Demon Lesson. In this lesson, they will take apart this three-eyed demon. After all, the outside world has long been taken over by the demons of heaven, so all of them must master the power to defeat the demons of heaven. Dr. Chung says that this demon has the ability to transform into different creatures, and to subdue this demon, you must have a strong psyche and not be infected by killer spirits, and you must not be afraid to die, and you must not be afraid to kill. But Zubai doesn't understand what Dr. Chung is talking about. Could the monster that was chasing him be a celestial demon? Dr. Chung goes on to say that outside the base is already hell, with a huge number of celestial demons, and this base that Dr. Chung built with his own hands is the only safe place. Speaking of which, don't they doubt what Dr. Chung says, that the world is really coming to an end? Then Zubai starts thinking about how Dr. Chung is the only adult in this place, and the only good thing is that children are weak and helpless, and that they're better and easier to control, because children believe everything Dr. Chung says. But what if this doctor is talking nonsense? What if, in fact, there's nothing wrong outside this base? So our hero thinks he has to go outside the base to make sure, not noticing that behind him, these two men are staring at our hero. And then, late at night, the hero hears some footsteps and remembers Aisha's words that one should not leave the room at night so that he wouldn't hear them. But then why did Zubai hear some footsteps? And maybe it stopped at his door. Zubai thinks. Our hero quietly walks to the door, and then listens. Suddenly, someone starts pulling the doorknob and the hero steps back, shouting, "Who's there?" Then he listens again and doesn't notice that there is something behind him. Zubai turns around and sees a huge cat that wants to eat him. But then, our hero gets up and starts screaming, and Aisha says that Zubai is finally awake and that she will eat his breakfast because Zubai won't eat anyway. And then Zubai asks Aisha, "Did something come in last night? After all, the door is always locked. Who can come in?" And Aisha thinks Zubai had a nightmare, and then she heads to the dining room, and our hero sees a similar silhouette he saw at night, saying that only Aisha was in this room last night, thinking that maybe that monster was. The next night, there was incense in the room, which Aisha brought because she was worried that Zubai would have nightmares. So our hero thinks, Aisha can't be some kind of monster, right? And then, the hero starts itching and someone's pushing on him, and he sees a silhouette in front of him, thinking it's a demon, but as it turns out, it was a white cat. And then this cat asks our hero, "Are you Zubai?" And the hero thinks of that voice in his head, and he realizes it's the woman who told him about the system, and the cat says to our hero, "He's so timid and shy and stupid. Why are you the one who cheated?" But the disgruntled hero yells at the cat that it's her who brought him here. Plus lately, he hasn't been getting laziness points and he can't even use his powers. And that's when the cat says, "You want to know everything? Find me and take me away from here." And the hero asks, "How do you mean take me away? What do you mean?" And the cat answers, that this is a dream she left him from the last reserves of her spiritual energy in her body is in this underground base. And our hero thinks, why didn't this cat tell him where she is? After all, he searched the second and third floors, and he even had to help carry boxes to get to the fourth floor. And then Blondie started yelling at him for being lazy, but since he lives here and he's fed, he has to behave normally, and if he finds that cat, his system will kick in and he'll be able to defend himself. And after finally getting rid of that blonde guy and the doctor, he quickly searches the fourth floor, but finds nothing. And since he hasn't searched besides the first and fifth floor, he decides to search the fifth floor. But on the fifth floor, only Dr. Chung can enter. Next, Zubai hears someone's voice coming from the container. He looks inside and sees a radio saying that the Celestial Relief Squad is providing worldwide freedom and action for humans. Zubai runs to the radio, but suddenly the radio goes silent and he thinks, what is the Sky Rescue Team? Are there people there? But Dr. Chung said they were the last survivors. Is Dr. Chung lying? There are people out there who could save them, but why is he hiding it? And then he notices someone's notes, and there are drawings on the wall that surprise him, thinking this place is pretty secret. But who did this? And then he hears some sounds that Zubai watches the door slowly open and thinks it's Dr. Chung. But from behind the door comes a girl with black hair, and our hero thought it was a ghost. What happens next? Was it really a ghost, or was it one of the heavenly demons? We'll find out in the next episode if we get 10 likes to continue the story. See you later and bye-bye.